This is going to teach the Imperial Father who Daddy is. That's what he says. I think this should just be the intro right here. But we'll get into that. Anyways, hey, this is the Old Boys Podcast. That's Dan.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Always.
His hair is long and flowing today.
Yes. Well, it always is. I just have it pushed back, tied in a knot.
A samurai knot. He's usually out on the prowl looking for
a top knot.
Wandering Ronin to challenge. But today he's here to watch a movie with me, Jared, the other host. I'm what you would call his shogun. You answer to me. All right. Anywho, I don't know what's happening. But you know what I do know what's happening about is the movie.
What movie? What movie did we watch? What movie did I assign to you?
It's called Harlock: Space Pirate.
Space Pirate. Harlock.
Yes. Harlock: Space Pirate. 2013. Yes. Directed by people. Shinji Arakami. I don't know who that is.
The Shinji Arakami Shogunate.
Does it mean he's not famous? But yeah, and then a bunch of people. And this is a CG animated movie, correct?
Yes, it is.
And you picked that specifically because you wanted to watch a Japanime.
I mean, it was a choice between three, and I now realize that the other two probably would have been a lot more fun.
You think so? Well, let's get in the first impressions. How did you feel about this movie? What do you think?
It was too long. I mean, it had some kind of... It was fairly interesting, but it was just... the more it teetered onward, and there's this one scene in the film... it's multiple scenes, but it's played out like one scene, or at least it's supposed to be one scene, and it didn't work. It was annoying. It made me end up very much not liking the film, and very rarely does a whole scene, just a single scene, affect a whole movie like this for me. We'll get into it, but it's the just
start your "we'll get into it" counters now.
Oh man, yeah. So bad.
Don't worry, I say that all the time too. Like we do.
So upsetting.
I thought this movie was okay. After a while, I did just start getting up and doing other things while the movie was playing.
Yep, me too. And I will tell you exactly, it's that one scene. I wonder if it's the same with you.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be kind of fun to find out. But yeah, I mean, there's something about how the action plays out to where the action feels very PG. There's no violence. It's kind of like you're watching Power Rangers where they hit somebody and sparks fly and they fall down. They're like, ah! Like people are getting shot with guns. It doesn't seem like anything is really happening.
As per our off-air conversation, if you want to see a violent film, I was talking to Jared about Vengeance, the new Nick Cage movie on Netflix. Nick Cage is not necessarily in the film that much, but whenever he's in the film, he is murdering the fuck out of people. It is super violent.
Maybe you could just look up the YouTube. You think somebody got it on
there's
YouTube?
There's this one scene,
Nick Cage's Vengeance scene,
where like this guy like throws a dude through his car window, and then Nick Cage comes up behind the guy that threw the dude through the car window. He's like, "Hey, Jimmy," and he's like, "Yeah, what?" And he just like in a blink of an eye pulls out his fucking magnum and just shoots him in the fucking forehead. It was awesome.
Does he say, "Yeah, what"?
Yeah. Like, because the guy who he shoots is like a little douchebag, and he's just like, he thinks he owns the world. He's like, "Yeah, what?" And he's like, boom. It's great. And then because it's comic book effects, like the guy still walks towards Nicolas Cage, even though he has a bullet in his head. Yeah.
Nice.
And then later on in the film, same gun, Nick Cage shoots another dude in the chest with the same gun, and the guy like flies 5 feet backwards over the falls.
Is it based off of anything?
Yeah,
Like
it's
an
based off
actual
of a
comic book?
novel, I think.
Oh, weird.
But it's just very stylized violence. It was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about all I need to say about it. Let's get
What
back
is
into
it?
Harlock.
What? Blam. Hey, Billy. Yes. He's got like his head in a vice. It's not the response you want when you're getting attacked by Nick Cage.
Oh, and like, well, like the thing that's wrong, like what they're avenging is a gang rape, and it's not as intense as Irreversible, but it's pretty intense. Like, yeah.
And they make you watch it.
Well, it's edited nicely to where you have to see anything, but the thing that made it intense is as they're doing it, they're also bashing her head into the ground, and that made me feel uncomfortable.
The gang rape in Vengeance was edited nicely. I can just see that's like Dan's review.
Just me and
he means
writing down notes
tastefully.
over here. Yes. I very much like this.
Oh, yes. What a good, terrible
Let's get
scene.
back into Harlock because
Let's
it's already
get back
long enough without us
into
talking
it.
about it. So we got to get in your first impression. So did you finish your first fin?
I did not finish
Impressions?
my Pursed Finmessions. I will do that right now, actually. Pursed Finmessions continue. So, like I said, this movie feels like a PG film with the violence, but some of the themes that they're tackling seemed pretty fucking adult. There's adultery, there's references to sex and other stuff. People are dying, like thousands of people die. Millions, billions of people die. Like there's a lot of death in this movie. And yet it's kind of like, I'm going to stab you with a sword. And just like, there's like no puncture wound, no blood. And they just fall down and go, oh! I felt like I was playing like, I don't know, like a JRPG or something where you attack an enemy and they just kind of like disappear.
Now that you point that out, that makes a lot of sense. But even then, those adult themes that they're tackling, they don't really delve too deep into the psychology of them. So it feels like it's still piecemeal and very PG.
Yeah.
So it's like they're putting a PG aura around like these really adult topics, and like as a result, it just becomes watered down and unnecessary, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of auras, do you remember when Harlock, the main character, had that blue aura on him in the beginning of the film, and then we never see that again? So anyways... So this movie was okay. If you like space battles, I'm not a big fan of space battles because that's what a lot of the movie is.
Yeah, it's anime Star Wars, really. But like more space battles than in Star Wars.
One of the space battles in particular was actually pretty clever, but it's kind of boring for me, and I was waiting for the fights. I don't think Harlock actually fights for like an hour and 18 minutes into the film.
Oh no, of course not. I didn't even know Harlock was Harlock. I thought Harlock was Logan. Like we were gonna have like the whole backstory of Harlock, and then it turns out that Harlock is not even the main character of this film.
Well, Logan, that's this other character, I think is Harlock, which is weird. There's some weird time travel thing, or I don't know. I really don't understand what's going on.
No, it's not weird. It's a completely different character because Harlock already has his story. He just turns into somebody that looks like Harlock at the end. Like he has the same scars.
That's stuff for the end of the I guess the review that we'll get into. We'll get into it, guys. Ding.
Oh boy.
But all in all, I thought it was all right. Like everything was just kind of whatever. I actually the most that I enjoyed out of it was the dialogue. Really, some of the dialogue was interesting, and stuff with the characters I thought was interesting. Less about the action. Like whenever the action would start, I was kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go do something else.
I don't even think. See, that's the whole thing. You had it with the dub, I had it with the sub, and like while I was doing other things and there was dialogue going on, I had to like stop what I was doing, and then I had to go back and I read it. And then whenever I went back and read it, I'm like, this was I didn't need to read this. I was wasting my time.
Okay, so anywho, we got Harlock. He's a space pirate. He's a literal space pirate.
Yes.
He's got a fucking giant skull dildo. He flies around and penetrates other ships.
Yes, penetrates
constantly.
other ships, flies out of noxious gas.
Yeah.
Always.
Which
like,
I guess is dark matter? I don't know.
I guess. And
because it's
apparently
explained
the ship's core has a personality that he talks to.
Yes. That's never really revealed. It just kind of whispers only to Harlock.
Yeah.
And they talk to each other in secret. He also has a magical elf lady who looks like if the little gray men, aliens that people obsess over from Ancient Aliens, had sex with an elf, and then they made this lady.
Yeah.
And she's also bound to the ship for some reason.
By her choice.
I don't know. And it's a really cliched thing to have, like, it's ancient alien technology, especially ancient elven technology. That's always like old technology that humans find and they use it for mass destruction as like a weapon. That's like JRPG 101 textbook shit right there. So I was kind of disappointed in that part of the story. I was like, I'm not too interested in this. The whole thing with Harlock becoming part of the ship and like the dark matter thing, that was more interesting, but none of that shit gets explained.
Yep.
It's just like he died and then the dark matter turned him into a cool pirate guy. And you're like, all right, I guess. But he's flying around doing weird pirate shit. And I'd say one of the first notable scenes
The bar
is
scene?
yeah, the bar scene. So they're like all the people there at the bar, and they're hearing like Harlock is nearby, and they all start running out to go chase.
Yeah, they all
like,
want to
join
chase
up.
the Arcadia, which is the name of the ship.
Yes,
And
the Bone Zone, I call it.
the emotion I read in the bar whenever they felt the vibrations of the ship and they realized it's a warship was fear. And the first thing they do is they run after it and want to join it. That didn't match the tone that was set in that.
Well,
first scene.
the narrator explains it as people are like chasing rainbows or something. It's something about some weird rainbow analogy where people want what they don't have, but like them chasing rainbows can lead to like, I don't know, their own demise. It's some waxing poetically stuff.
that
But
is
apparently
a full
the last
rainbow.
rainbow is space.
All the way.
If you didn't know that. What's that?
Double rainbow. Oh my god.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Here are the memes. We found them. Where are the memes been hiding? Oh, they're right here.
Anyway, so 4 guys. One of them is Logan, which I thought was Harlock because he
Yes.
looks exactly like Harlock.
Mhm.
So my first note is because they all go and they climb this gigantic mountain to get up to where the Arcadia is hiding.
Mount
'Cause
Fuji.
no, it's not even a Mount Fuji. It's
I'm
like
just kidding.
it's one of those weird mountains that like have those ledges that go outward too.
Oh yeah,
So-
this mountain is insane. How did these guys climb this fucking thing?
Well, okay.
without
Number one,
passing out.
how did the guys that we don't give a shit about get up the mountain? He has
Yeah.
like -10 to rock climbing because he struggles the hell out of everything. It's ridiculous.
They have no gear on. They're climbing up a rock face that's not even straight up. It's like arching outwards. It's insane. You remember the scene from Ace Ventura?
Yes,
And the sequel
Yes.
where he's climbing.
Yes.
Imagine that, but with
but with anime characters.
yes, but with anime characters. And also, if you haven't seen this movie, and for fun, you can just kind of picture Logan as Wolverine. It's for fun. And, that's kind of like a nice visual aid, I think will help us throughout the
I feel
story.
like if
Just
he looked like
imagine
Wolverine, he would
Wolverine.
look a lot cooler.
I don't know. I think Harlock's pretty cool.
Harlock's pretty cool, but not Logan. Logan's a little
Well, yeah, he's a little baby.
nozzle.
I was kind of annoyed that he was being focused on so much, Logan. And then I realized, I thought that Logan was Harlock's son or descendant. Because apparently Harlock can't die and he's been alive for 100 years. He's never aged. So I'm like, maybe he got some lady pregnant and this is like his kid or something. I don't know. And he's like grooming him to become.
And then you find
him,
out
I
that
guess.
that's not the case.
No, I still don't really know if it's supposed to be him
It's
from the
n-
past.
I don't think so. But I will tell you what I do think. He shouldn't have been the main character.
No, it should have been Harlock.
I mean,
but also Harlock is apparently evil.
right? You know,
Yeah,
for a film
Harlock's a really bad guy.
called Harlock: Space Pirate,
Uh-huh.
I feel like I don't know a lot about Harlock, Space Pirate, other than the fact that he is a space pirate.
Well, so if you can believe that Logan is Harlock,
I
then you
can't
do know
do
a lot
that.
about him.
Because
Like I said,
Harlock has
this'll
his
make
own
more sense when
extensive
we get there.
backstory. Like you said that this was a manga or an anime prior to it being OVA.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever.
it's a very old
So
manga. Apparently,
perhaps
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know, because I then at that point I feel like this is just so watered down, and it may favor, it may favor some of the people who are actually fans of this, and people who actually have read it may enjoy this more than I did, because they have these cool CGI visuals.
Yeah, it is good to say that we don't have any experience with Harlock. We don't know shit about him. But yeah, so we got these characters, and they're up on this platform, and they're asking them kind of like this interrogation thing,
awesome.
like what is our pledge or something?
Why do we
what
say?
we fight for?
What do we sail for? And
Yeah.
then one of them's like, freedom, right?
Well, like the last guy.
Oh, that's the freedom one. Well, what did the first one say?
Dan killed the
I did kill
punchline.
it. It doesn't.
The first guy
matter.
says. He says for honor.
For
and
honor,
then they
that's
drop
what it
him.
is. No.
The second guy says for money. They drop him. This seems like a really bad joke.
And then but then the third guy just gets dropped.
Yeah.
It's like fuck you.
Yeah, because he doesn't answer
and then,
quickly enough.
And then the other one's
like,
the other one's about to say freedom, and then he does, and then they save him. Now here's the real punchline of that scene. So there's this imagine BioShock, because this is what this guy looks like the big kind of submarine dude from BioShock.
Oh yeah, those things are cool.
Yeah, the armor looks awesome. But imagine that guy, and you don't see his face, you just see like lights, and he's so intimidating, and he's dropping people to their deaths, supposedly, because I thought they were dying. Spoiler alert, they live that gigantic fall.
How?
I don't know, but I saw them like getting out of the water that they fell into as the ship was flying away.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I missed that.
That was
dead.
one of the most disappointing things of the film, where it's like, oh, they did not die. They can't show death. Ridiculous. Anyway, once we recruit Logan, the guy inside of the armor suit reveals himself to be this fat guy with a big smile. And then you're like, wait a minute, he just murdered 3 people. He should not look that happy at all.
I know, right?
He was so
pretty
unintimidating after he pulls off the mask. I'm like, this guy is ridiculous. Why is he making commands? No, thank you.
I thought it was kind of weird. So yeah, we have the big tubbo, and then we have Harlock's lady, I guess. I don't know. Her
First
name.
mate
Kay or something. Kay Yuki. We just call her Yuki.
Yuki.
Whatever you want. They're not really characters.
No.
They're just kind of there.
Well, yeah. Kayuki
they're there basically for Harlock and Logan.
Oh no, Yuki's there for that, zero gravity shower scene.
Yeah.
For
that was
no
so
reason whatsoever.
Stupid. It was like a 5-second weird shower scene where she spins in a circle, and then they have that elegantly placed water right on her nips, so you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bloop. Real dumb.
Again, PG.
Real stupid. How is this still? I don't know.
Well, I mean, think about it. PG. Who's watching it?
But also, if I was a young man,
that's what I'm saying. Who's watching it?
Yeah. So we're definitely not the target demographic for this.
Which is unfortunate.
But yeah,
I was really looking forward to enjoying myself.
Oh, and then we cut to some dude who's got this wheelchair that kind of
the hover wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yes.
The hover round wheelchair, and he's talking to the evil tribal council, and these are like the Gaia Initiative. Basically, they had a big war for Earth after the world expanded out, and people went and ventured into space to conquer other planets. They never found any aliens except for, I guess, the elves. I don't know.
Where did this?
But then when they all tried to go
from?
back to Earth, what's
like
that?
This elder council trope. Where did that come from?
I don't know, but it's fucking been around for
I know,
a long
and
like
like
it's in
my
everything.
favorite one is the one from Death Clock. Like There's one of them.
Theirs is pretty.
But
great.
it's like just there's the Pope, there's a military captain. It's so good.
So yeah, they're sucking that guy's dick, and he's like, "I'm gonna stop Harlock. Oh, keep going, keep sucking." And they're like, "Oh, you're the best. You're the best." And they give him a fleet, I guess.
A fleet.
And a fleet. Oh, so what I was gonna say is all of these ships came back to Earth because they wanted to populate Earth again because apparently all the other planets were dying off.
You want to hear?
Are we on fleet right now?
Yeah, we're on fleet right now. You want to hear a funny joke that rhymes with fleet?
Yes.
Okay. Why do foot fetishists like to lose?
I don't know. Why do they like to lose, Dan?
Because they love the taste of defeat.
Defeat. It's disgusting. You're a terrible human being.
Say it one more time and try not to laugh at it even harder.
Defeat. I was really gonna not laugh.
You can't. You can't.
Fuck you.
It's so stupid. It's wonderful.
Oh, shit. Anywho, so yeah, all those motherfuckers tried to fight for Earth, and then the Earth Gaia Defense Force, basically, they control everything now. They're not letting anyone go to Earth. So Harlock wants to be able to bring people to Earth eventually. That's his main goal.
But Harlock knows the truth, too. We'll get to that.
Oh, the truth! So, don't they have a space battle? I think a space battle happens.
I feel like in between the loosely connected narrative, there are little threads that connect each one via space battle. So,
yes,
space battle is how we transition ourselves through time. It's a really strange editing move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, they are actually used as transitions.
Yes. Never seen that happen, so I guess that's a first.
Crippled guy takes a spaceship, and he's like, "I'm gonna beat you up, Harlock." He's like, "No, I'm gonna penetrate you with my giant skull." And he does that, and he's like, "Oh, fuck," and he leaves. And then they're kind of done. And then we immediately find out that Logan is the brother of Crippled guy.
So then you're like, wait a minute. Is Logan a bad guy or a good guy? And you're like, well, wait a minute.
Ursa is the guy's name.
Is Harlock a bad guy or a good guy? Or is Logan's brother a bad guy or a good guy? Who is good or bad anymore? That is the most confusing part about this film. Is like there is no such thing as good or bad. It's just like it seems like they're all. It seems like they are all selfish in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes
me what's interesting to me too is like Harlock has the skulls everywhere. Like he's got a skull chair. He's got all these skulls and shit. I know it's supposed to be pirate themed, but it just makes me think of that one sketch. It was like a British comedy sketch where it's got two Nazi officers are talking to each other, and he's like, "Hey, I think we're evil." And the other guy's like, No, we're not evil. He's like, "But we have skulls on our pins and stuff." He's like, "You have a skull on your hat right now." He's like, "Oh, damn, I think we are evil." Like they're just kind of realizing we might be evil. So they board Ursa's ship, and they're attacking it with the diver armor guys. Ursa, yeah. Ezra, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like, it's not what its name is in the Japanese.
It's Ezra, my bad. And some dude runs up to Logan when he's by himself.
Yeah, what was this shit?
And he's like...
Okay, explain it, and then I'm going to tell you what I have an issue with.
Okay, so he walks into a room stealthily, a dude shows up, he's about to shoot him, he's like, "Oh, wait. And this is kind of how you find out Logan is a spy. And he takes out this this injector, and he's like, "This was really difficult for me to do. You don't know how difficult this was for me to get this for you." And he's like, "Okay, let me see it." And then he puts it into his eye, and now he's got this retinal scanner that he can scan whatever he sees. And what I was thinking is, why wouldn't he have that to begin with when he joined Harlock? Why did he have to get it right there?
That's a good, fair question.
He could have got it like a million years ago.
That is probably the smoothest answer to the question I'm about to pose, which is, why didn't they just give me like a 2-second clip from the beginning saying, "You're my covert operative," instead of have him eagerly want to join the space pirates for no reason at all? Because it seems like he just wants adventure, and that's why he joined. If I knew that he had a different reason, like, you know, what's that word? A secret mission. Just 2 seconds. Just letting me know what's happening. I wouldn't be so confused at this scene.
Your mission, if you choose to accept it. Eat this creme brulee.
Goldfinger.
Skull dick finger. I don't know.
Dick finger.
He's a man with dicks for fingers. Edward Penis Hands. That's an actual movie.
Salad fingers.
Oh, no. No. Shut up. I hate that.
Okay.
I don't like it. So, yeah, you're right, Dan. I completely agree. I think would have been more fun, too, is if they let him go on these missions, like at least one mission, without you knowing he was bad. And then later, you know what? He betrays them.
You know what pisses me off even more about this?
Yeah.
Later on, maybe 15 minutes from the scene, we find out that Harlock even knows that this kid was bad to begin with. So why is it that Harlock gets to know something and we, you know, the people who consume this film, don't? That's unfair and unprecedented.
So I think Harlock knows that he's going to betray him because he's already kind of like, he's like done this shit before or something, or he knows who.
Let's be real here.
Logan
I think
is.
Harlock knows
Logan's
because
him.
Harlock read the script and he's animated. So he's predetermined to do something.
Well, also, the elf lady catches him red-handed doing some spy shit, and she's like, what you're looking for isn't here. He's like, oh, okay. And then he just leaves, and they don't arrest him. They're like, whatever. Oh, my God. Logan flip-flops so much in this movie.
Oh, I know. It's awful.
It is out of control how many times he flip-flops. He should be a politician. It's out of control. But we'll get into it. Oh, I gotcha. So we got that dude. He's doing his little secret eyeball mission. Oh, and then a guard runs in and shoots the guy he was talking to. And then Logan's like, oh, thanks for helping me. And he's like, yeah, no problem. Okay. Bye. Like, I was only supposed to be here to kill this guy. Why don't we just cut to the next thing that I remember that was important is they want to set these detonators.
Okay, this is the scene that made me want to stop watching. This is the scene.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with Harlock. Well, Harlock is what ruined the scene for me.
So Logan and the girl.
Now
she's literally the only girl in the movie that I can tell.
Well, besides the elf lady.
Yeah, I guess.
Elf lady.
At first, I thought she was in a bikini, but it was just how she's in a weird space outfit.
Well, great. I'm glad we covered that.
Aren't you glad I explained that to
Yes.
you? So you're not confused about what I'm confused about?
Briefly talk about... Wait, what are you confused about? I'm not...
Nothing. I was just being silly.
Okay. I will help your confusion because...
Thank you.
I have no confusion at this point. Just talk about why we're here and what happens.
Yes, sir.
Because there's a lot wrong with this scene, and it does not start...
Okay.
It does not start with where it starts. Just
You're right.
They kind of linger on it for a little bit too long, and they're like, how do we get out of this? And then they're like, let's choose the most ridiculously stupid way ever.
Well, let me tell you, we can talk about it. Christ! But we'll get into it. Logan and the girl both volunteer to go on this mission to set these detonators. They want to set 100 of them around the galaxy. They only have 2 left. They need to put one on this purple planet. The other one needs to go on Earth. And they think when they blow them all up, they're going to reverse time somehow through an explosion, basically making some weird Big Bang where it's going to reverse time and they're all going to be happy again.
Okay.
And like it's like a Genesis.
Do you want to hear something surprising?
It's stupid. Yes.
I have not been lost yet. Like, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm like, all right, I'll feel this out.
Yeah, I was kind of like, okay, I don't know how they know this is going to work, but I'm like,
because it's fucking Harlock and
sure.
his big plan.
His big, huge, throbbing plan. And I was like, all right. So they go to this planet. They land this machine. They're setting up the detonator or whatever. They're kind of having a conversation.
And then,
and
the most magical
the girl
thing.
tells him.
Oh, okay.
their entire plan, by the way.
Yes.
It's just like, here's our entire plan. I've only known you for like a day, maybe less. Here's everything that's going on. And then they find out there is a giant snake.
Wait,
thing.
whoa. We're going to talk about that.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to that. But first, before there is any gigantic snake thing, there are miniature feather llamas with no faces.
Oh, yeah.
That like to do little gymnastics on there. And then Logan goes up to them. And then the girl's like, yeah, I don't know why they do that. Some dude was trying to study that one time and he went insane. And they never figured out why they do that. They just do that. Meanwhile...
Oh, really?
Yeah, meanwhile...
That's interesting. That wasn't in my dialogue.
Really? Yeah, no, it's really dumb. It's really dumb. They're just really colorful things. But meanwhile, you need to know that the air in this thing is like extremely toxic and their suits are only going to last an hour. So they're on a time crunch.
1 hour.
Yeah.
With all their technology that they have a ship that cannot be damaged, that can heal itself. They have a man who cannot die. Like, Harlock could have just went and did this.
Yeah. Now, well, but
1
he's
hour.
the captain. Anyway, here is...
I thought it was really dumb.
Let's go back to the space worm, because that's what it is. It's a space worm.
Yeah.
First question. Have you ever noticed how many space worms there are? Like, that's like a sci-fi trope.
Dune,
Star Wars. I'm just going to go ahead and count Tremors, even though they're not space. It's just, they're gigantic worms.
Yeah.
I feel like
Worm
there was
stuff.
one more that...
The movie Worms.
Yeah, just gigantic worms. Like, it's such a weird trope. Anyway, this is the slowest space worm reveal ever, simply because I almost thought they forgot about it. Because they mentioned the space worm, and I'm like, all right, so we're supposed to be afraid of a space worm, and then the whole ship that they came down on gets toppled over, and then he saves the blonde woman, and he goes down with the ship, but we never see the fucking space worm.
But wait, how does he save her?
By kicking her out into the open.
Didn't it seem like he was trying to kill her?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because he's a double agent. But here is the issue.
I think he was, though.
I know. But here is the big thing.
Okay.
You don't, like, we only know that there's a space worm because of how it's existing, right? It's just, if people say there's a space worm, so we're like, okay, we're going to take your word for that.
Space worm, yeah.
The space worm, if it appears, and for a long time, I didn't think it was going to, it appeared maybe like 10, 15 minutes after they mention it. Here's why. Here's where the movie falls apart.
Okay.
Harlock realizes what is happening, and he does the most badass thing, where he's going to go save this guy who's going to kill him anyways. Like, oh, that's so noble, Harlock. Great job. And he dives, he free dives into this toxic planet to save this dude. Now, what happens? Does Harlock save him?
Yeah.
What happens first? Besides a 20 fucking minute flashback.
Oh, you're right.
A 20-minute flashback happens before we get any kind of context to what Harlock's about to do. It was the stupidest thing. It ruined the movie for me.
Which flashback was this?
I don't remember, because I just didn't care anymore. Like, you're going to cut away from the coolest part of the movie so far and never go back to it? It took them too long to get back to it. Like, there's a whole 20 minutes that you could just take right out, and I would feel so much better. Because then you don't even get to see the worm until we come back from that flashback. And it's just like,
how long do you see the worm for?
2
like
seconds.
5 seconds.
Not even 5.
Yeah.
5 is generous. 2 is generous.
Yeah, and it gave me like Star Wars Sarlacc pit shit. We know they fly into the worm. They're like, oh, we're in a worm. Oh no, they're gonna fly out. That's basically what happens. It's kind of stupid. Oh, and when the guy swoops down to save that girl, he's got a claw thing. Why can't he just save the guy too? He can just fly and then he jumps on it on the ship and they fly away. Like I didn't understand that. He's like, I only got 1 claw arm, so sorry.
You know, most video games I play like that have like 2 claw arms, but we'll forgive
you. Always have 2 claw arms. I mean, what the fuck? But anyways, the dude, the fat guy driving, right?
Yeah.
He says, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I got to leave you behind. I'm real sorry about that. Then when they get up to the main ship, the guy's like, we never leave a man behind. They literally say that 30 seconds later, like, we never leave a man behind. I'm like, you just left that man, like literal man behind. Like you did the thing you just said you weren't going to do. You motherfucker. And then Harlock fixes the mess. He's like, I'm gonna take care of business.
What?
I'm a Harlock.
You
my ass
never
down
like
there.
you. I'm gonna Harlock
So
my ass down here.
stupid.
But Harlocking, you don't really get to see that much of because after the flashback, like, what does he really do?
Not much. Like I said, until an hour and 18 minutes into the film, then he starts doing shit.
But even then, what does he really do?
Yeah. Not much. It's all about Logan, really, and the X-Men.
So
But
that was my last note. So here, let me read you my notes verbatim.
sure.
What's the deal with space worms? Slowest space worm reveal ever. There's not even a space worm. Captain Harlock being a badass, but no, let's cut to flashbacks. So there was a space worm? And then I stopped writing.
Oh, here's what I wrote. Harlock to the rescue. And then I wrote, or a flashback, I guess.
Exactly. And that took me so far out of the film. I was so far removed. So I guess what it cuts to is like, okay, let's talk a little bit about the bullshit with Ezra, and that's what it was.
Yeah, the backstory.
So it cut to Logan's backstory, in which we
sure.
find out what Ezra is in the wheelchair for. Like, I guess Logan throws a hissy fit and blows up a greenhouse.
Yes, so he's there, and he's sad because they can't grow anything on Mars or something. He's like, nothing is growing anymore.
Shit.
You already know that. And then he goes and grabs a lever or something that's been like taped down and caution taped down, and he pulls it, and the whole fucking room just explodes. Like, why would you? It was kind of ridiculous, and that puts Ezra's wife into a permanent coma.
Well,
and,
okay.
Cripples him.
Yeah, it cripples him, but you don't know that she's in permanent coma until the very end of the film. Or close
Which
to
is
the
kind
very
of cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool arc. Like, I think out of
Because
all
throughout
of that
the whole
was my
film,
favorite arc.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that. And throughout the whole film, she was there with Ezra.
As a
like,
hologram.
kind of, yeah, as a hologram, but she was reprimanded. And she is living, it's like she's in a pod, and she's projecting her mind into the hologram. So she's like alive, but her body can't move, and she's speaking through the hologram, I guess. And she's secretly trying to help Logan in whatever, like, whatever side he currently is on at the time, because she is in love with Logan and not Ezra, even though they're brothers. So apparently that's Ezra's wife, and then she cheats on him with his own brother. I thought that was pretty interesting and good motivation for Ezra to want to fucking kill Logan.
And so Ezra is the only one that's relatively justified by his actions, I think.
Yes. Even when he does something that's insane, like when he's trying to help them, he's still trying to kill Logan.
Yeah. And I like that. I think Ezra's
That's
my favorite
awesome.
character, for sure.
Yeah. He actually has a decent motivation for what he's doing.
But it's not called
Besides Harlock.
The film is not called Ezra Wheelchair-Bound Pirate or Wheelchair-Bound Dutiful Soldier. Although, I feel like, it should be. I would definitely watch that movie. Ezra, Wheelchair-Bound Dutiful Soldier. Victim of an affair. Victim of an explosion.
Yeah, I know, right? God, he gets fucked over in this movie. So it is an interesting flashback, but they put it in a weird spot. You're right. We wanted to see the cool stuff, and they blocked it. They cock-blocked us.
They did.
The movie.
They flash-blocked us.
Yeah, they flash-blocked us. That is a great turn of phrase right there for that. Absolutely. So then we have a little scene where Harlock is kind of just chilling out alone with Logan, and Logan pulls a gun out on him. He's like, I'm a double agent, and I'm going to turn you in. And he's like, or will you? He's like, but I have to kill you for Gaia. He's like, but what if all of your ideals were the opposite? And he's like, what if they were the opposite? And then he's just like, I'm best friends with Harlock now. It was the dumbest shit ever. Like, he changes his mind so fast.
And Harlock gives him no reason to.
What if your ideals are congruent with my own? He's like, what if they are? What if they are? And it's like 1 minute.
Well, I mean, Harlock is pretty
now,
charismatic.
So now he's become a triple agent at this point. You would agree? So he's an agent, He joins a different side. No, he's a double agent. My bad. He's joining the side.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he
right
would
phrase.
become a triple agent eventually, where he's like, I'm working for
He
one side.
definitely upgrades later. I'm just saying.
Now I'm on Harlock's side.
Now?
Now I'm not even on anybody's side.
So then we get Ezra's like, all right, fuck you guys. You planted your thing. The last one they need to plant is on Earth. So he's like, I'm going to set up a big group of ships, a big wall of ships, and we're going to fuck your ass up. And they're like, take out the autonomous magnetometer. They keep just saying random science names, and then they bring out like a weird new weapon they're going to use against them. They're like, bring out the magnonius flimflometer. And they're like, all right. It's a big gun. Usually it's a big gun. So they bring out a big gun, and they're going to blow them away. And they got Harlock's ship starts flying in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they start shooting at it. It's not doing any damage. They're shooting it. And then they all fire and converge and fire at it at the same time. And the ship apparently warps away.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, that was fucking sick. And they're like, okay, where did it warp to? And then they pick up their signature.
Well,
and they're like, how did it warp so fast?
It was a hologram.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. So that's the cool thing about it.
Okay.
But they think it's a ship.
Yeah.
So then they warp to where the ship goes, and then they see it again. They're like, fuck, how do we get this thing? Then they fire their big gun. There's no way it can dodge this. So they fire it. They waste the bullet.
Wait, is that the thing that like travels from Jupiter to like through warp space through all those rings?
No, that's the bigger gun at the end. I'm not even kidding you. I'm not fucking around. That's a different, completely bigger gun.
This is where I kind of stopped paying attention. Is like after anything after the flashback, I'm like, okay, space battles, yippee.
That's the Mandalorian bum shooter.
I'm not aware of this gun that we're talking about right now. I only know the big mega weapon.
No.
Mega weapon!
They use the Escaflowne French tickler later in the film. So, yes, Harlock, he emerges from an asteroid. How they were encased in a fake asteroid, I don't know.
Right.
Dark matter did it. Okay? I don't know. Dark matter.
Dark matter.
Anytime you can't explain what's
a
going
lot
on,
with it.
when like, why can't Harlock die? Why is the ship regenerating?
Dark matter.
Why is there a weird elf lady? Why does the ship talk to them? Dark matter. I don't know. This is dark matter.
Did you not feel like dark matter had way too much importance to not be explained?
Yeah.
Because they kind of like throw away all the explanations to this thing called dark matter, but it's like they leave so much of it up to your like. I feel like they threw to it too much to where it needed to be explained.
You know what? I like it when in a book or a movie, if something is like that, it's a mysterious force. Just have someone question it. Like if Logan's like, "What's the fucking deal with this dark matter? How can it do these things?" And they're like, "We just don't know." We don't know enough. Like, I don't know. I went into the dark matter. I came out as this person. I can't explain why. They capture Ezra and all of his men, most of them, and they bring him to the skull dick, and they're like interrogating them and talking shit to him, like, haha, we got you, motherfucker. And he's like, oh no, that's bad. And then we have the what he didn't tell you moment where Ezra's like, what if your ideals were congruent to mine?
The ones that you had from the beginning.
Oh, what if my ideals were congruent to yours? And he's like, yes. What if they were fine the whole time? And he's like, oh my God.
You're right.
I'm going to betray everyone now. So then, well, here's the reason he betrays everyone is he finds out that Harlock, his real plan is to destroy the universe to start it again. He's not going to reset time. He's going to like remake the Big Bang. Everyone's going to go away.
Except for Harlock.
And it's going to just remake the universe. But it'll kill everyone. So he's like, oh, I don't want that to happen. So he betrays Harlock. They kidnap him. He's captured now. It's like the same. It's like a big role reversal thing. And then they banish... this is where I was a little confused. Maybe you can fill this in for me, Dan. Logan gets banished to Earth. He's like on Earth for some reason. How does he get there?
Somewhere along the lines, it's revealed that Harlock has been pulling everybody's leg on his crew, and Earth has a hologram around it.
Yes, that's true. Yes. Earth has been destroyed because Harlock did it.
I think Logan goes back to find a plant. like any sign of life, because he wants
Oh.
I think he just wants to go back, and he like they're all just going to kill each other just so Harlock can find his way. So I think Logan just goes his own way, goes down to Earth to make sure hey, if there's life here, we can prove Harlock wrong, and he won't
Dan,
try to destroy.
Did you know that you could go your own way?
I didn't know that, but I know I can call it another lonely day.
You can go your own way. Thank you. Oh, that makes sense. Because I thought he was banished there, but he was going there to find signs of life to give Harlock a reason to stop, I guess. Even though he's already got him.
Harlock's backstory is he had like a friend who was obsessed with like soil.
Yeah.
Because he has a beaker full of soil on him at all times, and Harlock.
Well, no,
still
they were
has
trying to find a way to have growth on other planets because it was dying out.
Okay, I will hear that out, but
okay.
If you weren't paying attention, like I wasn't paying attention, he just had a beaker full of soil and was really cool with that.
Beaker soil.
Beaker soil. So then Harlock's like, hey man, I'm going to take that and just carry it in your honor because you died.
Yeah. Aww.
So essentially what happens is Harlock destroys it all, and then because he was part of the
He was part of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. They're literally called that.
Is it? What?
Yes.
Wow, I missed that. He was part of the military.
Yes, they are sent to fight off during the Great War where people were trying to land back on Earth.
Yeah.
He was part of that team to stop
them. And he murdered everyone.
Yes.
And then only the elite rich people could go back to Earth. And they weren't going to let any dirty stinkies there.
And he was so pissed about that because he thought no one was supposed to be able to go to Earth. And he thought that the higher-ups were betraying them and lying, that he decided he wanted to do a full frontal attack on planet Earth. His friends, the other warships, started attacking him. And he just did like a kamikaze thing where he turned on the dark matter machine, which I guess is like some ancient elven technology they have. And that, once he turned it on, it triggered all the other ships, blew them all up. And then the whole world got engulfed in basically nukes everywhere. It's basically nuclear bombs all over the Earth. The whole Earth is destroyed. So then once the Gaia people establish control again, they put that hologram up that Dan said to make it look like Earth was fine. And they're just like, yeah, Earth is fine, but don't go there. And they made it like a symbol of hope or some shit. But the goofy part is that Harlock emerges from the dark matter smoke out of Earth in the Skull ship, in his new pirate clothes, alive, with this new ship, and it's never explained. They're just like, he came out of the dark matter. I don't know. And you're like, okay, I guess.
This is a Japanime.
Japanime.
But it's interesting to note that, themes of rich people wanting to be protected from migrants from shithole countries and nukes everywhere.
No, I don't think there's anything there. I don't think there's anything.
You're right. Those Japanese people don't know anything. They can't predict the future or anything.
No. It's not like with, I don't know. No, you know what? Never mind.
No, there's nothing there. You're right.
There's nothing there. So Harlock's all chained up. He's having a bad day, and old Logan shows up, starts using his kung fu.
Every time we say Logan, I just picture Wolverine.
Exactly, I do too. I knew
I wish.
He uses his adamantium claws.
I don't know
to
if I've said this, but here's a good. Yeah. I think I have said it, but
sure.
That X-Men Origins Wolverine, not the sequel to Wolverine, but the first one. I can't remember.
Okay, you did? Oh yeah. Did you ever see the Logan movie?
No.
The newer one? It's fucking good.
I've heard it's good, but I like that first one, and everybody hates that first one. I'm like, it's not that bad of a movie.
I thought it was good. It was all right.
It gets a lot of hate, but anyway, go back to the boring Logan.
Well, Dan, I heard that haters are gonna hate, and that's what they do.
You know what? Sometimes I forget that. It's good to be reminded.
But what if what you liked was something that you didn't like, Dan? Do you ever think of it that way? What if all of your ideals were congruent to my own?
I never thought of it that way. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I'm really good at arguing. I used to take debate, so they want to do this. The only way they can think of to destroy the ship is they have this giant thing surrounding it, this giant machine, and it's gonna just melt the ship with all the crew on it. And it's kind of cool. Like the ship starts to like decompose and it's getting all crushed and destroyed. And then Logan stops it. He rushes in. He saves Harlock.
The day? No.
Yeah. So then now he's changed sides again. So now he's like, actually, my ideals. And he's like, okay, sure. And he shows him the flower. And then Harlock has a huge change of heart. He's like, I guess I won't fucking kill everyone.
So what you're saying is Logan went up to Harlock and he's like, hey, man, what if your ideals were congruent to my ideals?
Yeah, exactly. What's kind of dumb is Harlock has been alive for over 100 years, right?
Yeah.
And he said he searched every single option to try to make this work again.
Mm-hmm.
But did he ever try to go to the planet and see if there were flowers?
I'm sure he did once, maybe
I guess. And then maybe
20
after
years. 20 years is like a fifth of 100. So he really, I think he dropped the ball. He could have checked more than once, I think.
I feel like you could do some science shit and kind of find out if the Earth is going to
Clone
get better over time.
Things or,
Yeah, like why do they even have this trouble of growing plants? They got all this fucking future technology. They can't replicate the DNA of plants. I don't know. Anyways. So Harlock's like, yeah, sure. And then
yes, Harlock.
We have this big...
Yes, Harlock. Yes, Harlock. Yes. Harlock? Yes, Harlock.
Open the pod bay doors, Harlock. What is your primary objective, Harlock? To kill everyone.
Harlock. I am your father.
Oh my god.
Harlock! That was supposed to be Khan from Star Wars or Star Trek. My bad.
Oh, I thought you were doing Metal Gear. Anyways.
Oh, what's another good space movie you can make? The spice is the Harlock.
Yes. The spice
the Harlock will awaken.
That would be really great if a giant dune worm just showed up, fucking killed them all. I think we only have one more major battle,
I think
honestly.
So.
So bad guys are like, all right, we're going to get out our even bigger gun. This is a planet destroyer. It's basically the Death Star. And they're going to use it to target Earth. Because in a weird turn of events, one character just says, oh, it turns out Gaia wanted to destroy the planet all along. And I'm like, well, if they did, why have they been using it for over 100 years as a symbol of peace to control people? Like, why do they want to destroy it now? It doesn't make any sense. I thought they wanted it. But now they want to destroy it? It's never really explained. They're just like, they just wanted to kill it now. I don't know. So they're going to use Ezra's ship as a guidance system.
Uh-huh.
So that when they fire the laser, it's going to target Ezra's ship so it'll hit the planet, basically.
I feel like that's a
Ezra
song.
knows this, and he's like, fuck you.
I'm firing my laser.
Firing my laser. Yeah, fuck you, I'm firing my laser. No, he's like, I don't want to work with the Earth Defense Force or whatever anymore, but I also want to kill my brother. So he moves his ship and then boards Harlock's ship and then proceeds to like bring a bunch of men and kill everybody there.
Wait a minute. There is an important thing that's happening soon. And that is the final battle. It's my favorite final battle of all time. Where he's like, Ezra's like, I don't want to be handicapped this time around. So he turns off the gravity. Logan is at a clear disadvantage because he doesn't have a hovercraft. And he's just floating around everywhere.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Ezra like rams the fuck out of Logan into the wall. And it was like, oh, that was awesome. And then Logan figures out how to manipulate his own gravity via pushing himself off the stuff.
The only thing I was a little weirded out about is how does he have that ability to manipulate the gravity on Harlock's ship?
That's a good question.
It's not his ship. Like, he shouldn't be able to know how to do that anyways. But it was cool. It was a cool fight. I was just like,
Dark matter.
what's going on? So, I think Ezra gets shot by Harlock after the fight.
Yes.
They're talking with
Ezra's
Ezra.
about to
He's slowly
fucking murder,
dying.
right? Like Ezra
What's
has
that?
the upper hand.
Yes, he was about to kill Logan. Yeah. Harlock stops him. And
And he's like, so, I'm going to say this one more time. But what of your ideals?
he's like, wait, before I die, this is one thing I need you to know. He's like, what is it? Anything. Anything you tell me, I'll instantly believe it. What if ideals congruent my own? Oh. And he's like, you're right. And he takes a gun and shoots himself in the head. It's fucking crazy.
I was going to say that.
He shoots
Logan
himself
just
in the
fucking
head.
kills himself.
Because his ideal is who he wants to kill his own brother. That's we like to have fun here, guys. This is a fun show. Okay? Start having fun. Thank you.
God.
Gosh. Dad. Ugh. So, no, here's a funny line though. So they fire the laser. It misses. And then all the tribal council guys are like, how could the laser miss? We must recalibrate it. First of all,
Okay, well,
should the
so-
laser be recalibrated?
No, it shouldn't.
already, but-
Because like the amounts, because they fire it from Jupiter. I don't like. I guess it's home base of Jupiter, but it goes through a series of rings that allow it to go into hyperspace or something.
Yes.
And then it clears 5 galaxies and then ends up on the other side to blow up Earth. I don't know. It was a cool process, but it was totally pointless.
Well, here's the goofy thing: is in the English dub. Ezra says, politicians tend to learn from their mistakes after the laser misses, implying that, like, next time they won't miss. But it just made me laugh a lot that he would say politicians learn from their mistakes. Because that is not true at all. Oh, biting political satire. Thank you. Anyways, Ezra's dead. They want to stop this second laser launch. They have recalibrated the laser, and what does Harlock do? He says, "I must activate the dark matter."
I'm recalibrating laser. Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a cool scene because like the arms of the ship turn into DNA strands, and they kind of like fold out when the dark matter turns on, and then they kind of stretch out and they catch the.
Now, is this before or after that elf lady turns into particles and gets swallowed up by the dark matter of the ship?
That's happening simultaneously. She becomes part of the ship,
and then she comes back.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, I don't know if that made sense. I don't think.
Well, here's the deal. So it shows the girl and El Tubbo on the ground. They look like they're dead, right? They're kind of just laying on the ground. It looks like everyone's dead, and everyone's about to die. The laser hits. And then, if you're thinking of it this way, if you're following me, this is like the Big Bang. This is like the actual Big Bang that happens. And it resets the world. Because the last thing they had to set off was like on Earth. So they actually did reset everything. But instead of Harlock doing his plan of like setting that last charge on Earth or whatever, I guess he doesn't do it. He doesn't, so it kind of changes history. The thing I was confused about is, like, why are they all there on the ship? I guess it's kind of what happened to Harlock. But why is Harlock there with Logan still, and he becomes the new Harlock? Because Logan gets the cut on his face. Harlock
Which
hands
I didn't
him
see,
the
by
eye
the
patch.
way. Okay.
Ezra does it to him.
That's what I thought. Harlock hands him his eye patch, right?
No, it's a different eye patch, I think.
It's a different eye patch. Because I thought he gave him his eye patch to put on, and then I'm like, he has the eye patch on still.
No, he just gives him another eye patch. Even though he doesn't actually shoot his eye. Ezra doesn't even hit his eye.
Do pirates, whenever they, hand down, do they just have like a fucking eye patch on the ready, just in case they have to hand their legacy down to the next generation? Like, I didn't know this was lore.
If you think that Harlock knows that this guy is his past self, then yes. So like he's set all this up so that it would happen this way, but that doesn't make sense because then Harlock changes his mind. I don't know. It's okay. This is a weird time travel thing.
I don't think you're understanding me. It can't be time travel because we are privy to Harlock's mistakes. Like, we get Harlock's backstory.
I think that's what they were going for.
We know Harlock's backstory. So how is it that we know that Logan is past Harlock, even though Harlock had a different past to begin with? Like, what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Okay, so that path... Oh, I don't know.
Unless there's
alternate
Harlock dimensions.
I don't know, because time is split. So now there's the future where Harlock happened, and now there's this new future where he's made with this guy, and so that loop has to keep happening for that future to happen, I guess. I don't know. So now there's like two different timelines. One where Harlock fucking kills everyone, and the other one is where they stop the laser and they
killed
they don't
everyone
blow up the world.
because... Never mind. This is getting too confusing. I don't
It's
understand.
weird, right? It is
No, it's
super
not.
weird. Then how do you explain that ending? He's just like, you're the new Harlock now, and then he gives him the ship. And then the elf lady reappears. She's like, you were the new captain. And you're like, Harlock is right behind me. Why isn't he still the captain?
Because he's
like, is Harlock
wasting
dead?
away.
And
Okay, the other thing is, they were on Harlock's ship, right?
Yes.
Ezra and Logan, whenever they were fighting.
Uh-huh.
They were inside Harlock's ship.
Yes.
Harlock's gigantic ship
Yes.
that has not crash landed on Earth yet.
Yeah, yeah.
How is it that Ezra can see the flowers very clearly, very close up from his vantage point? Long enough to say, I never got the chance to see them. They are so beautiful. And then the ship
that's
crashes.
all crazy bullshit. I don't know how he knows any of that. I don't think anyone told
Because
him
he's nowhere
that at all.
near the flowers. And he's like, I can see them. It's like, no, you can't.
I think he was seeing it in his head, like as he was dying.
But then the ship crashes right on top of the flowers.
Brutal.
Is that supposed to be like figurative?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it was just kind of like a thing he was seeing before he died, I guess. But yeah, it's a weird ending. I tried to look up what was going on with the ending because initially I had no time travel theory. I was just like, I don't understand this ending. So a lot of this was me trying to understand it by looking it up. It seems like I have not been able to convince Dan. I can't convince myself. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, there is one way you can convince me.
Oh. Your ideas are wrong? You're wrong.
No!
I didn't do it right?
You're supposed to say,
Oh,
what
I
if
didn't do it right.
your ideas...
I know that. I'm doing a misdirect. For God's
That's not
sake.
funny. You ruined the joke.
I enhanced it.
Moment lost. Really? I can't wait till I go back and re-listen to this episode.
Dan?
Editing it.
You're going to love it.
I bet I will.
You're going to love it. Anyways,
I will.
so that's the movie. I don't know. Final thoughts. It was all right. I don't think I'd watch it again.
It was too long.
But...
They could have cut out the entire flashback. But then again, I wouldn't want them to cut out the entire flashback. I just would want them to edit it better.
Put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think this has me more interested in watching the anime though, which is does it a service. And I think there's like multiple different animes, like redone versions of Harlock. So I'd be interested to see that. As far as this movie, I wouldn't want it in my collection or whatever. But CG was all right. Like I said, they just kind of looked like it was like if two action figures were just slamming together, like get the bad guy. That's kind of like how I felt about the action in this movie.
That's a pretty good description.
Do you want to say anything, Dan?
No. I said my piece.
That's true. You're right. So we have a movie. Dan wanted to assign this, and I shut him down.
Shut me down twice. You shut me down.
Yes.
With this movie.
And then I thought about it for a while, and I heard something on the radio where they were talking about it, how it was a true story and all that. I don't know. I'm kind of, because what was that other movie I said I was worried about that Jack Black did? That's also on Netflix. Bernie. So he did a movie called Bernie. And this is giving me Bernie vibes of like...
This is not giving me Bernie vibes at all.
It just feels like a different version of that film, but there's polka now.
No, because like Bernie was super slow and like weird because they would talk to the camera and shit.
Yeah.
This is like a narrative. And it has Jason Schwartzman and Jenny Slate in it too.
Yeah, that's true. So it's called The Polka King. It just came out recently. It's this year. And it says on IMDb, local Pennsylvania. It says on IMDb, local Pennsylvania poker. God. So on IMDb it says local Pennsylvania polka legend Jan Lawan develops a plan to get rich that shocks his fans and lands him in jail. So basically what I got from the trailer is he starts a Ponzi scheme without knowing that he started a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
It kind of seems that way.
That's exactly what it is.
We'll see. We shall see. I hope this was something, guys. Please find us on Twitter, oldboys_pod. Please find us on Twitter at oldboys_podcast. I don't know why I cannot talk today. Please find us on oldboys_podcast. We're on Podbean as Old Boys Podcast. We're on everywhere. Stitcher, all that other shit. Go find us. So, Dan, you have the final word.
I am utterly unprepared for this.
Oh, I hope this was something. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I'm like, what is happening? I don't even know. Listen, guys. You could just not listen to us anymore. But what if your ideas were congruent to ours and this was the best show in the world?
Oh, God damn it. But we'll get to that later. All right. See you.